What's going on, guys? Gonna do a little video today of the Arky sexy tail shad and electric chicken color. Gonna be using 1/16 ounce jig head. I'm using an Ugly Stick Light Pro 10-pound mono. I'm using 10-pound mono because in this little pond it's got a lot of structure on the bottom. I'd rather bend hooks and the break line. So let's see if we can catch some panfish. Alright guys, we got our first one. It's a nice fish, nice colors on it. Kind of thin though. It's thick this way but thin that way. We're gonna let it go. That would have been a good eater right there. We're just gonna catch and release today. Catch him another time. There he goes. See if we can catch some more. Alright guys, one thing I do want to say, got a little snag there. When I see people fish jigs like that, just small jigs, people often, that's actually somebody else's line. Okay. People often overwork the jig. They want to have it, on the bottom like this and hopping it and all that stuff. That's really not what you need. In a jig like this, okay, or any jig, that tail, let that tail do the work. All you got to do is just twitch your rod like that. Don't, work up and down. That's one thing at first when I got into pan fishing back when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I worked my jig too much. I would try to pop it off the bottom, have it come up 1.5 feet off the bottom. And you know what? You might catch a couple fish that way, but if you want to catch more fish, slow down your jig retrieve. Slow it down. Let that tail do the work, okay? Let that tail do the work. Another tip, even if you're just pond fishing like me, always keep just, a couple colors on you. I do have 2 boxes of these Arky Sexy Shads. I have some Lucky Strike Crappie Magic. I also have a little Roadrunner in there with the body being one of these little Lucky Strike grubs. Right now I'm going to switch over to that, but even on these ponds, put some in your pocket. You never know what that crappie or whatever fish you're trying to search for really wants. So keep a couple colors in your pocket and see what happens. Another tip about panfish: bluegills and crappies, sometimes you'll find them mixed up together. Sometimes you won't. Now, when you find structure, you can find them pretty much over any structure. Crappie, they love wood, okay? Crappies love wood. They love vertical structure, whether it be, a drainage pipe like I have over here, a vertical tree that's inside the water, stump. They like vertical structure. That's one thing to keep in mind. If you see some vertical structure, it probably wouldn't hurt to sit your tackle box down or drop your anchor and fish it for a little bit. It may take a while to figure out what kind of colors and what kind of movement they want, but they'll certainly be there. Not the species we're looking for, but it definitely crushed it. Tiny. It's not even as big as my cell phone. Largemouth bass. We'll let him go. Alright, so what I caught that fish on is I got that Roadrunner, and the yellow grub looked pretty good on it, but honestly, I got that sexy tail shad and I put it on there, and it's looking really good in the water. It looks more natural to me versus having that curly tail grub on there, because you have that tail moving back there just like that. You have that blade down there, so it's doing pretty good so far. Caught that one bass on it, so they must like something about it. But how I have it, see, I got the fat end on the bottom and I got the flat end on the top. Now sometimes I want to reverse it. It does give it a different action. Sometimes it slows this tail down and sometimes it speeds it up. It just depends on what jig head you're using, and you know, if you have a spinner on there or not. But it's doing really good. So get back to you. Well, folks, we did it again. We caught a tiny bass. Just a tiny thing, just a tad bit bigger than the other one, probably about a ½ inch bigger than the other one. Throw him back. All right, so a tip here, since I have a bladed bait on. Now, if you can see, it's pretty windy and the waves are blowing this way, okay? Blowing into this pocket, blowing into that pocket. So a lot of people will say, okay, well, it's just bringing the bait fish in over there, it's blowing it over there. No, that's not necessarily true. It's bringing all the organisms that the bait fish are eating on. Therefore, we'll bring the bait fish in, and therefore we'll bring the bigger fish in. So what I'm doing now, I'm reeling it in and stopping it, reeling it in and stopping it. Because just like a bigger spinnerbait, like a, you know, Kevin Van Dam series Strike King spinnerbait, windy day, you can let it fall. You can reel it in, let it fall, reel it in, let it fall. And when you do that, it looks like a school of bait fish is kind of getting off course because of the wind. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to get back in this corner and we can see if we can actually try to catch the fish that we're trying to catch today. All right, so what I was talking about bending hooks. See how it's slightly bent? You might be able to see, there you go. Okay, got the jig body off. Take your thumb, press down on it. And that's a lot better than what it was. You just take your jig body, and there you go. That's how I do it. That's why I fish with a little bit heavier line when I'm fishing around structure. You know, you can do it bass, crappie, whatever you're fishing for. I always use a little bit heavier pound test. In some people's eyes, this might be a little bit too heavy for panfish. If you're fishing on flats, yeah, it probably is. But if you think that you might get locked into a bass, or you might get locked into a bigger fish, or you have structure, go ahead and put on that 8, 10, maybe even 12 pound test line, and you'll end up bending hooks instead of breaking line. All right, move that wire out of the way. Came back to the Jeep. The jig bite was slowing down, so I figured I'd come up here and see what other color jigs I have. And I think I'm gonna go with the Crappie Thunder. That's what I think I'm gonna go with. It's different little colors. I have some small crankbaits somewhere. I don't think they're in this box though. So check this. Okay. Looks like they're in the other box. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. We can make this work. Pink little Crappie Thunder. Alright guys, so we're gonna wrap up this video here. It's kind of getting dark, so hopefully y'all learned something by this video today. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll catch y'all next time.